2,696 days in a row. No rest days. I was inspired to talk about this because of Cody Lefevre. He's really cool. I love him. He's fantastic. And recently he posted about how he's trained 2,000 days in a row. And I thought to myself, gosh, I don't even know how many days in a row I've trained. But for me, I always trained 7 days a week for a very long time. And then I had a hospitalization that occurred, and that broke my unbroken streak. So I had this amazing unbroken streak going since, like, I don't know, 2013, something like that. After my accident, I started training again, and I just decided I'm going to train 7 days a week. So that was just how I decided I was going to approach life. It was just going to be this thing that I do every day. And then in 2017, I had the hospitalization that occurred, and that ruined everything. So I came home on May 4th, 2017. And I have trained every single day ever since. So that, I looked it up. I had to do the math, and I found a calculator thing online. It's 2,696 days. I think that's what it was, right? So no rest days. What, do you need rest days? Not really. No, you don't. And I'm going to discuss how I do this, though, because I want people to understand that you don't have to go all out in the gym every single day to make progress, number one. Number two, this idea that you need rest days is kind of a silly thing. This idea that you need deloads or whatever, you probably just overdid it, okay? And I'm going to point out also, I am not a bodybuilder. That's not my goal. I'm not a power lifter. Not my goal. I'm not a weightlifter. I'm none of those things. I am just a person who is interested in general fitness, okay? So I just want to be just generally fit. This is something magical that's going to happen here as I tell you this story. And so to me, I just thought to myself, I'm just going to do basic things every day. So I'm going to do some type of, like, I'm either going to run or do a loaded carry or push a sled or something like that every day. Okay. So, and it doesn't have to be the same thing every day. That's an important factor here. I'm going to do a squatting movement. I'm going to do a hinging movement. I'm going to do some pushing and some pulling. So that's it. Push, pull, squat, hinge, and carry, or, run, whatever it is. This is very Dan John influenced, okay? And the thing of it is that it doesn't matter what movements you do. So, like, there are times where I back squat, and then I front squat a lot. You guys who follow me on Instagram know that I front squat more than I do anything else. I love the front squat. It's the most comfortable squat. And I will front squat ad nauseum because it doesn't cause joint pain and I feel great. It is the most comfortable squat for me. Back squats are not comfortable. I'm usually sore after I back squat. Safety bar squats are okay, but I just don't like the way they feel on my hips. Sometimes my hips are really sore the next day. I do have FAI in both hips. Supposedly I have FAI. I have cam and pincher impingement in both hips. Torn labrums in both hips. The meniscus is torn in both knees. My MCLs are torn. I have a quad tendon torn. Like, there's all kinds of shit that's supposed to be wrong with my legs. But what I find is that when I squat regularly, I don't have any pain. I've talked about this in the past, daily squatting. And the magic of it is that you don't have to go heavy. I tell people this all the time. I probably only go heavy every 10 days, roughly. And it's not the same lift every time either. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I'll take a heavy squat today. And then other times I'm like, I'll take a heavy deadlift today. And other times I'm like, I think I'll take the press heavy today. Now, I don't do them all on the same day. I'm not like, I'm going to max out on all four. That'd be dumb. But, without fail, I do some type of squat every day. So back squats, front squats, safety bar squats, Hatfield squats. When I was traveling, I didn't have a choice. All I had was 250-pound dumbbells. So it was like, well, I guess I'll just hold the front rack position with the dumbbells, and I'll do 20 sets of 20. I'm still squatting. I mean, that's, and that takes a considerable amount of time. 20 sets of 20 is not a short workout. you know, and then of course, and on top of that, I had the 50-pound dumbbell. So I did, you know, floor presses and overhead presses, and I did rows, and I did like RDLs and dumbbell deadlifts. And I mean, what do? You have two 50-pound dumbbells. Like, you got to be creative. So, you know, 20 sets of 20, everything. I'm joking about the creative part. It's boring. I literally just did squats, deadlifts, presses, and rows with 50-pound dumbbells, 20 sets of 20, everything. Like, it was just like, this is what you got to do because you're traveling, living out of a fucking hotel room, right? So, but when I have access to gyms, you know, and sometimes when we travel, you know, I do have access to a gym, you know, I continue my same thing. You know, a lot of behind the neck presses. I love the behind the neck press. I love the overhead press. Those are two of my favorite movements. That doesn't mean I don't bench press ever. I do. I floor press, you know, but it's a lot of just pressing and squatting, and, you know, for the hinges, sometimes I do trap bar, sometimes I do a straight bar, sometimes I do, you know, RDLs, sometimes I do Dimmel deadlifts, sometimes I do floating deadlifts, sometimes I do deficit deadlifts. Like, it just changes all the time. And as far as the pulling movements are concerned, my favorite is the pull-up. You know, if you guys that follow me know I do pull-ups like every single day. I love pull-ups. Weighted pull-ups, you know, pause pull-ups, dead hang pull-ups, any pull-up variation, close grip, you know, wide grip, whatever. I think pull-ups are awesome. And of course, you know, if I don't have access to a pull-up bar, I'll do rows. And I don't care, barbell or dumbbell, okay? So now that I've explained to you what I do every day. Oh, and by the way, I forgot the part about the run. I'll go for an easy run. And I'll do something like run for a minute, walk for a minute, run for a minute, walk for a minute for 10 minutes or something like that. Maybe sometimes I just run continuously for 10 minutes if it's an easy pace, right? So I run hard for a minute, walk for a minute if I'm going to do that interval type thing. Otherwise, I'll just run at an easy pace for 10 minutes continuously. You know, sometimes I'll just push the sled back and forth for 10 minutes. Or other times I'll do like a farmer's walk, and I'll just set a timer, got 10 minutes. We'll grab two 45-pound dumbbells and carry them as far as you can until your hands give out. Set them down, shake your hands out, pick them up, and start going again. Like, 10 minutes. It's 10 fucking minutes. That's how I start off every workout, though. Every workout starts off with either a run, a farmer's walk, or pushing a sled or something, okay? And then from there, it's just, you know, push, pull, squat, and hinge in any variation you want. You don't have to be like, it's back squat only. It has to be low bar only. It has to be high bar only. It has to be, you know, like, whatever. So this is something interesting, though. Because of this, one, it has forced me to be more intelligent with the way I train. I can't do dumb shit like, oh, I'm going to squat till I can't fucking walk. No, because if I do that, I can't train the next day. And, you know, I'm going to deadlift so heavy that my back is killing me the next. No, because that'll ruin tomorrow's training. So what this has forced me to do is take Ed Coan's advice. And Ed Coan made this comment once, and it's stuck with me ever since. The mistake most people make is they train too heavy. Train too heavy, but I'm trying to get strong. Yeah. Well, here's the magic of this. So because I don't do excessive amounts of volume, and because I don't do excessive weight, or I don't do crazy things like, let me just put, you know, 155 pounds on the bar and squat it for 50 reps or something, or let me just, you know, put 335 on the bar and squat it to failure, right? I'm smarter about this. I leave something in the tank every day. It's a Matt Wenning thing, right? It's not about how much you can do, it's how much you can recover from. You know, it's really that simple. This forces me to hold back. And that's a good thing for someone like me, because I'm someone who will train until they're burger. But by training every day, I don't do that. Because why? Because I still want to be able to train tomorrow. I enjoy this. I'm having fun. This is what I do for fun. I lift weights for fun. This is relaxation. This is my hobby. This is my whatever you want to call it. Some of you guys go home and you watch TV to relax. I go lift weights to relax. Like, it's an easy, fun thing for me to do. I put on some music, and, you know, I chill out and I have a good time, okay? Here's the magic. I told you it was coming. I have hit PRs on practically everything at some point in time. It's insane to me. I'm not even training hard. Like, and I mean, like, I'm hitting PRs whenever, like if I was using RPE, which I don't track RPE or anything like that, but there are times where I've hit a squat and it was like, oh, that's a new 1 rep max. I probably could have done 2 or 3 more reps. Like it wasn't that hard. But you know, I have this rule. There's a Glenn Pendlay rule. Once you hit a PR, like you're done. Like you don't go for more. Why? Well, because you'll ruin the fucking day. It's a Louis Simmons thing even. So like, let's say you squat, you know, I don't know, 200 kilos. And today you hit 202. And you're like, I think I'm gonna go for 203. And you put 203 on the bar and you miss it. Now you walk out of the gym being pissed off because you missed 203 instead of walking out of the gym being happy because you hit 202. Okay? So for me, it's like, I'll squat something, and it's like, oh, wow, like I did that for 2 reps, and I feel like I probably could have done 2 more. But that's a new 2 rep PR, you know, that's my two rep max here. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just keep that in mind, and the next time that I come back to this weight, I'll do it for 3. And that's what I do. I just leave it in the tank. Because, you know, a week from now, I'll come back to this weight, and when I squat that time, maybe I'll take that 3rd rep, and I get that 3rd rep, and I'm like, yeah, I might have been able to do a 4th, and I'll leave it. Because I don't just decide, I'm going to throw in 1 more set and just push it to failure. Because, okay, I got 3. That's a new 3 rep max. It's good enough for today. Like, that's still progress. Like, you guys, you know, everyone knows this concept about progressive overload. Everyone wants to talk about, like, you can't force gains. Progressive overload should happen naturally. Well, what could be more natural than me doing something that's an RPE 8, and it's also a PR? It's like, well, obviously I'm getting stronger then. Like if that wasn't even like a grindy max, like, and it's a PR, something's going right. So what I've learned through all of this is that I really don't have to train as hard as I used to. I used to train so hard that I did CrossFit type shit, and you'd be like throwing up afterwards. And I took that same mentality and I tried to apply it to weightlifting, and I tried to apply it to powerlifting. It was like, I'm going to put 295 on this bar and I'm going to squat it for 20 reps or else I'm going to fucking die. And I made it to 17 and then my hip blew out and I was like, oh shit, maybe I should have stopped. You think? You know, I mean, I did dumb shit. Well, now that I train every day, I don't do those dumb things anymore. I don't give myself stupid challenges like, I'm putting 315 on the bar and I'm going to squat it for 20 reps or I'm going to fucking die trying. No, I put 315 on the bar and I squat it. And if at 17, it starts to feel like, you know what? Like, this is starting to get slow and it's starting to get sloppy. I feel like my form's breaking down. I just call it a day. It's 17. Good enough. Like, it doesn't have to be 20. You know, I've learned to be more flexible than that. And that's my own fault. Like, I own that. But it was like, if the program says you're going to squat, 365 for 3, I was like, I'm getting 365 for 3. I'm going to fucking die trying. And now I'm like, that second one felt really hard. I might get a 3rd, but the second one didn't feel real good. Rack it. Like, what's the big deal? Especially like with deadlifts. Like deadlifts, I used to kill myself trying to pull deadlifts. And it was like, because you can always strain through 1 more. And now I'm like, that last one didn't feel real good. So, it's 4 reps instead of 5. No big deal. And I do stuff that I don't know if you'd call it strongman, but I'll just put something on the bar, I don't know, 275, and I'll just pull it for as many reps as I possibly can, right? But I no longer have a number in my head like I have to get 50. Dude, if I'm doing trap bar deadlift with, 275 and around, I don't know, I hit the 27th rep and I'm like, oh, that one didn't feel good. I'm just like, fuck it, sit it down. Like, do another set then. Like, reset. And it's taught me to be so much more flexible because I'm always thinking about tomorrow. I don't want to train to the point where I'm sore and I can't fucking walk, or I get injured, or I aggravate something so that I can't train tomorrow. So now I train with this mentality of, I got to make sure that I don't do anything dumb so that I can still train tomorrow. And that's been one of the best things for me. Like, and so, do you need rest days? Maybe if you train stupid. I used to need rest days. Sometimes I needed 2 rest days. Now, no. Like, well, also, I don't have enough time. I got 1 hour. How much damage can you do in 1 hour, especially when you're doing 5 different things? I'm going to do loaded carry for 10 minutes. Well, that already cuts me down to 50 minutes. So now I got 50 minutes to squat, hinge, push, and pull. Like, people wonder why I don't spend time doing curls, and I don't spend time doing leg extensions. I don't spend time doing single joint movements. And it's like, well, because like I don't have time. So it's like, pick 4 big compound movements and just hit them. Is that going to turn me into the next Tom Haviland? Hell no. It won't turn me into the next Chris Bumstead. It's not going to turn me into the next John Hack. And it certainly isn't going to turn me into any type of, Olympian. But that's not my goal. My goal is just to have just general fitness. And I think a lot of you out there probably feel the same way. Like, you're not trying to be the next Ronnie Coleman. If you're trying to be the next Ronnie Coleman, you're probably not following my channel. If you're trying to be the next Ed Cohn, you're probably not following my channel. Like, most of you out there probably are just training for just general fitness. And I just want to have general fitness so I can do things that I enjoy, like judo. Like, that's fun. And I don't take judo seriously either. Like, I'm not even a black belt, and I've been doing it for how many fucking years now. I don't take it seriously. I don't get bent out of shape. I used to. Not anymore. Now I'm just like, whatever. I just do these things for fun. I don't make a dime off of it. I don't make any money at all. Like, it's not like someone's like, oh, Nike shows up and says, we want to sponsor you for judo. No, fuck that. Come on, no one's coming out. No one wants to watch me lift. No one cares how I look. I don't make any money off of this. I don't sell supplements. I don't need to take my shirt off and tell you to buy my whey protein powder. And I feel like most of you out there watching me probably feel the same way. You just want to have general fitness. And like, I'm not ashamed of my numbers. Like, I don't care. Like, at one point I was really happy. I was so happy. I did this program called Base Building, and I contacted Paul Carter to tell him how great it was, because I finally pulled a 3 times body weight deadlift, and he's like, 3 times body weight deadlift isn't even novice level. You're a faggot. And it was like, oh shit. I was really happy with that. Now I'm not. Now I don't care anymore. Like if you don't think I'm strong, I don't care. I'm not trying to be strong. I'm not trying to impress you. If I squat 335 and you're like, that's not a very good front squat, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I weigh 160 pounds. Like, a 335 front squat isn't a world record. No one gives a shit. It's like, I deadlifted 495. Does anyone care? No. Like, go look at the weight classes. Like, there are guys smaller than me pulling way more weight than that. So I don't think anyone's impressed by my numbers. I'm not impressed by my numbers. I'm impressed by the guys that weigh like 135 pounds and they're pulling 600 pounds. Like, that's something, right? But like, no one gives a shit. Like, you're 160 pounds and you have average levels of strength. Like, you're just doing this for fun, which is the whole point. We live in a great world. You can do shit for fun. If you're watching this, you live in some place where you can do shit like this for fun. Like, I'm not in a coal mine. I have electricity and running water. Life is not so bad. Most of us are doing this for fun. Most of us are doing this for general fitness. I like to be able to go outside and run around with my dog, even though she's a nut. She is. My dog is genuinely psychotic. I have a lab. Those of you out there who have a lab, an American lab, by the way, not an English lab, I have an American lab. Those of you who have an American lab understand exactly what I'm talking about. Those of you who don't have no idea what I'm talking about. But my lab is like, there's no off switch. She just runs, and then runs more, and then runs even more, which is weird for me because I used to have a Newfie, and my Newfie would run for like 30 seconds and then would lay down. Now I have a lab, and we can play for hours on end, and somehow she still has energy. There should be some type of law against this. Anyways, point being, no rest days. Here I am, 2,696 days without a rest day, and it's because I don't do stupid things. I come in and I train, and I just do enough. And the weird thing is that I've hit PRs doing this. I don't even train that hard anymore. I used to train really hard. Now, I always think about, hey, don't train so hard that you can't do it tomorrow. And that I hit PRs. So I'm not telling you this will work for you, because if you're psychotic and you like to train till your burger, this is not going to work for you. But if you're in your 40s like me, and you're at the point where you're just doing this for fun, like easy strength, grease the groove, you know, Pavel and Dan John, that kind of stuff, it's brilliant. It's brilliant in its simplicity. There's no reason why you can't come in and squat. And if you're sore, you put 95 pounds on the bar and you just squat it for a couple sets of 10 and call it a day. And if you feel great, okay, go ahead and put 315 on the bar. Put 325, 335, you know, go heavy. And if you feel shitty, you know, for your deadlift, you know, take 20% of your deadlift and do 2 sets of 20 Dimmel deadlift. There you go. You got a hinge movement in today. You feel great? Put 495 on the bar and hit it off the floor. Like, there's no rules to this. It's just, you know, training by feel, which I think is another thing that Ed Cohn talked about, is train by feel. So, like, don't kill yourself every day. You just do something every day, and it's like putting a penny in every day. You just keep putting a penny in, save them up. And the weird thing is it's progressive overload. You'll hit PRs without even trying, because it's just like, hey, that felt light. I'll put another 5 pounds on. Oops. I wasn't even trying to hit a PR. So that's my thoughts on it. That's the lessons that I've learned. I think that there is something to just doing something every day, and it doesn't have to be killing yourself. You can just train at a moderate level, but you can train at a moderate level literally every single day. That's the magic.